In Amazing Cultivation Simulator, the cultivation room is one of the most important structures you can build. Imagine your cultivator could spend years sitting on their bed, slowly gaining experience one at a time, or they could jump into a properly built cultivation room and fill their experience bar nearly instantly. Not only that, but breakthrough success chance and most importantly, golden core quality both depend on cultivation room strength. This guide is for cultivation room building from the start of the game up until the point where you start replacing spirit wood with better materials. That's once you have killed at least one boss and have advanced materials from that boss's corpse. There are other considerations like key void. I'm going to cover advanced cultivation rooms and key gathering mechanics in a different video. One note before I start, breakthrough rooms and cultivation rooms are in fact the same thing, and I'll address it at the end of the video. For now, just build one type of room and use it for both breakthroughs and cultivation. Start with the place that your cultivator sits. This can be a cushion, a key cushion, which you earn at 500 sect reputation, or an altar of magic, which is copied from the Kunlun sect. A bed technically works, but it should not be used. The material you use for the cushion depends on the cushion's type. For a normal cushion, you can only use fabric. The room won't have feng shui and that's okay. For an altar of magic, the element of the altar should support the cultivator's law, and the room won't have feng shui. For a key cushion, you want to match the material of the cushion with the cultivator's law. This will give the room feng shui. Supporting the element of the cushion is usually taken care of by the items that you place on the displays. The next step is you want to lay your display stands outward until they cover all the way to range 4 from the cushion. This is ranges measured in game terms. The cushion itself is range 1, the cross around it is range 2, the diamond around that is range 3, and range 4 is this oddly shaped diamond as shown in the diagram. Range is calculated using trigonometry. Here's a diagram that shows it. Don't worry, your disciples can move through displays so they don't block the cushion. The altar of magic is a little bit different. The cultivator sits on the top space, so you should build outwards from the top spot on the altar and not the middle spot. To place items on your displays, first you'll need 16 pieces of spirit wood, which you can get by logging the blue spirit trees on your map. You will also need items with the gather key stat. That's the gather key stat, not the amount of key in the item, not anything else. It needs to be very specifically gather key. Their element should support the cultivator's law. Therefore, a fire key room will be used by an earth cultivator, an earth key room will be used by a metal cultivator, and so on, all around the element wheel. Gather key items of the correct element can be difficult to find. Here's a chart of beginner and advanced items. For a metal cultivator, earth items include stone essence, but can be upgraded to dragon feces or ochre essence. For a water cultivator who needs metal items, lumina core bars are one place to start, although ideally you want to use lumina core itself, samsara pills, or the metal element fruit. Wood cultivators supported by water key typically start out with ice essence bars, but you can upgrade to spirit pearls or the prism lotus fruit. Fire cultivators supported by wood key often use spirit wood for everything, but they can be upgraded to phoenix wood or gnarled vine. And lastly, earth cultivators supported by fire key typically start with fire essence bars, but the blazing feather or the crimson fruit are good upgrades. These elemental gather key items are placed on the inner diamond of displays, but you have to be aware of their range. Range 2 needs to be right next to the cushion. Range 3 can be either next to the cushion or in the range 3 diamond. And lastly, you take your 16 pieces of spirit wood, which are all range 4, and you place them on the outer range 4 diamond. The final touch is to move the cushion out and then drop one of your lowest range items from the display into the cushion spot, ban it so that nobody picks it up, and place another item on the display, then move the cushion back. This gets you one more item. Then you finish building the room around the gathering array and wait 5 days for the key to establish itself. The room's walls are out of range, so the material doesn't matter. Floor material makes a small difference to element when it's in the range 3 diamond around the cushion. Past that, it doesn't matter at all. Spirit stone is the ideal material for reasons I'll go into in the advanced guide, but starting out, it really doesn't matter. You can build your walls and most of your floor and all your decorations with whatever you like. There are a few tricks that you need to know before you do this at home. The first is that the fire key room for the earth cultivator and the water key room for the wood cultivator are extremely hot and extremely cold respectively. They will kill your cultivator and burn your sect down if you don't do something about it. So you can mitigate this by building the rooms together like this. Or you can place temperature mitigating items around the outside. Metal key rooms for the water cultivator are pretty rare because the materials are hard to get and the only water law in the game is considered to be pretty poor quality. Wood key rooms for the fire cultivator can use a huge ginkgo tree. This tree can't be reliably grown, so chances are you can only use one per room. It hit range 5, so it can go outside the normal stand diamond. However, you have to know that it spreads its wood element to the entire 5 range, so it's unsuitable for rooms that aren't wood key. There are other items that are an exception to the normal range 3 element spread. For example, Holy Stone and Lumina Core. This usually doesn't matter, but it can disrupt shared room setups, so it's not recommended to build 2 rooms together unless you're mitigating temperatures. To figure out if you should use a key cushion or an altar of magic, just add up all the gathered key items that the altar would cover, including the cushion itself. That's these 15 squares that the altar normally takes up. If this is more than 600, you should use a key cushion. If it's less than 600, use an altar of magic. Building on top of spirit soil provides a very small gather key bonus if the soil is directly under the cushion, range 1. This only works if there's no floor underneath the cushion, and it's a very small bonus, so it's generally not worth worrying about. And finally, you can add a manual key burst setup. You should take a look at my other video to understand how to add that to any cultivation room. So why do I consider a cultivation room and a breakthrough room the same thing? Some players will notice that this video contradicts a couple other guides and playthroughs, and it also contradicts the game's tutorial. You may be familiar with cultivation rooms that look like this. My opinion, these rooms are poor. They're designed to use the least amount of resources, so you can afford to build many cultivators their own personal rooms, and then you swap the cultivator in and out of the fancy breakthrough rooms as they hit their breakthrough bottlenecks. My personal opinion, if you're playing the game at all, you should be able to gather enough resources to build full rooms for your active cultivators. Cultivators that you're holding at a stage don't need a room at all. If you can't build a full room, my recommendation is to just make the normal diamond but leave it incomplete. Don't build a poor room, there's not much point. As I said earlier, I'm going to cover the advanced cultivation setups and the math behind how gather key works in a separate video, and I'll also be covering body cultivation rooms in a separate guide about body cultivation. That's all for this video. If you're interested in Amazing Cultivation Simulator, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more guides.